They had a great demo at South by Southwest, and if you look at Blancos, which is their game, you'll see these guys are ex-Blizzard, ex-Activision, so they know about distribution, they know about creating these types of AAA games, and that's a blockchain-based game that will, I think, rival any game. It's got all the great elements. It's simple to get into, but it's got depth in the mechanics. It has esports applicabilities. So I think we're getting there. I think we're getting close to some real publishers incorporating blockchain.
I will actually slightly differ from that in the sense that when we've seen a shift in business models in the games industry, it tends to be new players who come in and show us how it's done, and then the existing sort of big players who adopt it later, and they've got every reason to hold back because they're making all the money and they don't want to all set up. So they want to see that it actually works before they apply themselves, be it that they have all the resources to be able to do it. But so it tends to be new people coming in terms of against the incumbents to actually shift the business, shift the business model and test out the ideas, and then you get back, because at the end of the day what those companies produce is amazing entertaining experiences, which that's what we do. That's our business. So it's not just about the business model, it's about the entertainment.
Generally, I think that's kind of a hard one to ask, is, kind of to follow on from what Paul was saying, is that I honestly think that I tend to go after the conservative estimates of how long this kind of thing will take. So in a couple of interviews I've done, that ranges anywhere from about 3 to 5 years. And I think for the average development arc for something like Grand Theft Auto 5, it was about 3 to 5 years. To get it to that point where it was so viable and profitable in its microtransactions, I think it's credit cards, it's microtransactions and microeconomy that's gotten there was a booming industry in itself. The major roadblock that blockchain has to deal with is the fact that many game developers out there, bar Ubisoft of course, have to deal with a lot of the concerns. They're thinking that this is a thing that's going to end up, I guess as Leonard put it, shake up your cards and spoil your game. And they need to be kind of assuaged of that. They need to be convinced that this is a viable tool and it's only going to enrich the experience. And I think the time it will take for us to see those massive collaborations is all the time that we would need to see in order to find real powerful use cases. And I know that's a bit of a cop-out in terms of actual time frame, but I think that's kind of the state of play.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's the independents are the ones who will drive this, because they're the ones that are hungry and they're the ones that are seeking differentiation. And the larger gaming houses, they have a recipe that works. So I think it is probably the 5-year time span. I think what we'll see is probably a couple of emergent games that break through in the same way as we do with mobile, with things like Angry Birds that sort of hit the scene and explode and really kickstart the whole blockchain gaming space, but we haven't seen those yet, I don't think.
And just a reminder, just for those of you who aren't in the gaming business, gaming is already bigger than feature film and television and music entertainment. It's short of advertising, and just TV, I guess. It is the biggest entertainment medium by revenues globally, and has been for many years now, thanks to mobile. I think that one thing to note is that studios like Rockstar, right, and the big console studios, they still haven't come to mobile yet, right? It's been 12 years. And it's because they're very good at a particular kind of experience, and those companies continue building those experiences just like Disney and Marvel build tentpole franchises for movie theaters, even though most people are watching streaming at home these days, because they're different entertainment experiences. And so I think that, a relatively facile analogy is mobile gaming is a little bit like streaming and television is to console gaming's film experiences, right? Those are big budget, long-term, multi-year projects, and they have to have a big splash of marketing and make all their money, half their money back in the first weekend, or it flops. Whereas we put stuff out in the App Store, and if it doesn't work, we update it, improve it, improve it, improve it, because it's games as a service, right? And so after 3 years, you can make something work. Our biggest hit last year was based on a game that was 6 years old, but we improved it, and we iterated, and we iterated, and we iterated, because it's a different medium. Even though we're both making
games. Just one other point I'd add. I think you have to look at gaming as another form of media. And if you look at my kids' generations, they spend more time in games than they do on certainly watching the TV, probably watching streaming, YouTube, all this sort of stuff. They live in the game world. Probably a bit too much. So if you want to engage with my son, or you want to engage with teenagers, especially at the risk of being stereotypical, it tends to be more males than females at the moment. You've got to put engagement and media and advertising in those games, because that's the place to go. And I think it's that media spend, to the point around advertising revenue, that will drive adoption of blockchain games, and being able to tap into that $350 billion a year will enable independent games to really go big.
Perfect. With the last question, it's just going to be over there.
Thank you. I love the entire concept that you shared, right? The use cases and so on. One question I have is around your point of view around the ethics of using blockchain in gaming. So for example, the $30 virtual bracket or a game card can become 300,000, especially if you expose it and do not really control it. How do you see? Will standardization help, or what is your view on the ethics around making sure it's implemented well?
Since it was my analogy, yeah. So we don't see that as an ethical constraint at all, because in the sense that this is a collectible. The fact that it's in digital form really makes no difference, because what is any collectible, but the meaning that you attribute to it. So the fact that it becomes exchangeable, that you can pass it from one person to another, gives it ownership quality to the bearer, essentially. And then it's up to them to, they decide how much it's worth. They decide the value of it. So the ethics in that sense is not really there. I would argue it's the opposite, is that when we're selling a tennis racket that is only available until we pull the game, that's pretty dodgy. And that happens, No, it happens because what you do is as we mentioned, this is games as a service, so we're constantly updating our games. And we will pull a feature, and occasionally we'll pull a feature that has an impact on what somebody has spent. 6 months ago, he made one purchase, and now we suddenly pull a feature that uses that purchase, or that enables that purchase. And we will inevitably be in a ethical dilemma there. What do we do? What's incumbent upon us to how to deal with it? And we have to struggle with that, and some companies don't do too well with that. With blockchain, if it's a true asset that you own, we can get around that by saying, look, our objective is just to give you access to usage in that, and that may not be forever. We will acknowledge usage of that asset, but you still own that asset. So it's the sense of, I'm a velodrome and I'm selling bikes to people. That doesn't mean that just because you bought a bike off me, that means I have to keep the velodrome open for the rest of my life, or your life.
You can use it anywhere. I think also the exciting thing, and I have to give credit to our partners at Dapper Labs for this, is this idea of the content becoming the platform. Because when you think of those velodrome bikes, or in the case of Dapper, of CryptoKitties, right? The example that they used was they started this game, CryptoKitties. Lots of people bought cats. Many of you might own a CryptoKitty, right? But then it begged the question, now that I have this cat, I can play with it in this game, but what else can I do with this cat, right? And the thing for us as game developers that we thought was so cool about what they did was they said, hey, it's an open platform. If you want to make another game for people to use their cats in, come on, make another game. And that is where the excitement is, right? The excitement is there's an existing audience out there of cat owners who want to do something with their cats. And so me as a game developer, that's an audience, that's a market, right? They're gonna come and spend money and enjoy life. They're gonna come and kip their cats out in, accessories that I sell in my game. So that's a revenue opportunity. So it builds an ecosystem. And so all of a sudden, us as developers are looking at cats as being the interesting part, not the games, right? Whereas today, it's all about going to a game and buying something there. Whereas in the future, when people can own content, it may be actually us game developers who are drawn to content owners.
So in terms of if you're purchasing a blockchain object, that blockchain object potentially is, lives forever. And I guess if you look at the sort of predominance of retro gaming now, people are sort of rediscovering some of the old games. But a lot of the console manufacturers re-releasing old consoles with old characters that are very much loved. One of my colleagues here, did anybody ever play Elite on the BBC Micro? What ranking did you get to? Mostly harmless, I think. So one of my colleagues, Thomas, he managed to get to elite status, which probably spent a lot of time in his bedroom playing that. But when you got to elite status, you could actually write off to the games company and they could send you an elite pin, which he still has and he wears with great pride, although he told me he left it at home today, which is kind of annoying. But that idea of a digital collectible that has real value to somebody, 30 years after the game came out, it's the same with the objects that you purchase in those games now. So you can purchase a skin for a particular game that in 20 years' time you can look back on with great fondness on. You can trade as a secondary skin. It may work within a game. There may be new games that use that capability. It may just be a digital collectible. But I think it's Paul's point. It's more ethical to let people keep objects outside of the game when the game is expired than it is to lock them into the game.
There is certainly a moral positivity that we can have, we can conclude when it comes to item sovereignty, but I think I'm just going to do the whole cop-out philosopher thing, which is to answer the question with a question, but it's mostly just a raise of hands. So if you had a plot of land, for example, that you could buy, price tag is about 10, 30 ether. How many people in here, by raise of hands, would buy that? 1, 2, okay. And just by show of hands, yay or nay, how many people think that's fair? Let's say hands up now for if it's fair. So it's kind of one of those things where, I think at the moment that's not so much that it's a bad thing, it's just that this ecosystem is in such a nascent stage right now that, granted, it's a little bit unfair because the people that are buying those non-fungible tokens are the people that see an intrinsic value to them. They are investors in that space, so they see the profitability over the long term. But when it comes to, I think, what some people in the fintech and stock world call proletarianization of video gaming or blockchain games in that sort of sense, as the pool becomes deeper and deeper with more players, that sort of price range is going to go lower and lower. So I think that's not so much a moral quandary for right now as it is just an indication of who it is that kind of dominates the blockchain gaming world in terms of the kind of investor.
Perfect. Well, listen, put your hands together for our amazing panel. They do an amazing job. Before we wrap things up, I will pass it over to John Knight, who's going to be speaking about something very interesting.
So we thought we'd have a little bit of fun. Some of you may have noticed that there are flyers around the place. So circling around your heads are, I think, probably about 20 or 30 augmented reality butterflies, which you can collect using nothing but your phone's web browser. And this gives an example of how easy it is to engage people and onboard them with blockchain digital objects. All of these butterflies, by the way, are on EOS. There's a billboard behind me, which you can scan with the phone on your camera, which will actually update and emit a real digital object. If you get the butterfly and you get the spider, you can actually get, you can combine them together to decrypt a prize, which means you might win an Amazon voucher. So I think there's several £100 worth of Amazon vouchers up for grabs if you have a go with it. Any of my colleagues with a BlockV badge on can walk you through the process if you get stuck. But this is the same campaign, although on a much smaller screen than we did at Piccadilly Circus about 2 weeks ago. And seeing it on that screen is pretty amazing.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.